Breaking news, a security guard stabbed at a Southside Walgreens. Police tell us this started when the victim got into a verbal fight with someone who then pulled out a knife and stabbed him. That security guard was taken to the hospital in good condition. The person responsible got away in a silver Dodge minivan.
Breaking news to get to this morning. A man rushed to the hospital after being stabbed at the Walgreens in River North. Police say it happened after 10:30 last night. It's the store on Clark and Erie. They say a man started taking some items, so then a victim tried to stop him. He was stabbed in the face, neck, and legs, so multiple times here. He was taken to Northwestern Hospital in critical condition, and the man that stabbed him got away.
An employee at a Lincoln Park Walgreens is stabbed during a robbery. A man entered the store near Fullerton and Ashland and demanded money. When the woman behind the counter resisted, he stabbed her in the hand and he ran out with an unknown amount of money. The woman is being treated at Illinois Masonic Medical Center. It happened in under an hour. Thieves hitting 3 Walgreens stores in the city overnight. This is one of the stores on King Drive near 35th Street, where 3 people broke in, jumped the counter, and stole medicine from the pharmacy area. Chicago police told our nonstop news crew the suspects in each incident had the same description and drove a gray Kia. So far, no arrest.
So we've got to have a conversation about Walgreens and how they are continuing to close stores all over the country. Walgreens announced that between now and 2027, they are going to close over 1,200 stores across the United States, and most of them are being closed in blue cities that have laxed laws that do not prosecute thieves.
We're standing in front of the location on 71st and Western, and there is a store closing sign on that front door there. It says it's closing on February 17th, and it's a part of the first round of closures. We know Walgreens is closing 1,200 stores across the country in the next 3 years. The 5 stores closing include locations in Little Village, South Shore, South Chicago, Brownsville, and the one here in Chicago Lawn. Company officials say they're struggling to cover rent, staffing, and supplies. The next Walgreens closest to this area where we are this morning is a little under 10 minutes away at 63rd and Kedzie. It's not a quick alternative, especially for those who take public transportation. And we know some people in these neighborhoods rely heavily on the Walgreens pharmacies for medication.
The number one phrase you're going to hear repeated in these neighborhoods is that when Walgreens leaves, it creates a pharmacy desert. And we can't have the local residents have to travel more than a mile or 2 to get to the nearest pharmacy. That's racist. That's unfair. You're punishing the local people who are living in these areas. But guess what? It's not just the retail theft. It is these pharmacies cannot afford to remain in these areas. When you look at this information, take a look at this. These are the areas that are the Walgreens that are going to be closed in the Chicago area over the next few weeks. So you see right there, most of these pharmacies that are going to be closed are going to be closed in black neighborhoods and low-income neighborhoods. And that's really important that we talk about that we talk about the demographics of the area and we talk about the income of the area. Those are the 2 most important drivers of why these stores are closing. Number 1, you've got, let's look at Bronzeville, for example, where you have one of these stores closing. You look at the racial demographics, it's 75% African American, 15% white, 6% Asian, and 3% Hispanic. So right away, if we're going to be honest, about what's happening, and we have retail theft happening in these stores, that retail theft is being committed by the individuals who live in these neighborhoods. And this particular area, Bronzeville, is 75% black. That's not saying that all the black people are committing the crime, but it is saying 75% of the people who live in this area are African American. So it's not Asians, it's not Latinos, it's not non-black people who are committing the retail theft. That's the first thing that we have to be honest about. But then let's also look at the income demographics of this area. So you look at 50% of the individuals who live in the Bronzeville area are low income. So that means you have 50% of the individuals who are coming in and they're using some sort of state-sponsored insurance program like Medicaid that reimburses less than normal insurance. So Walgreens is losing money on the pharmacy end, and then they're also losing money from the retail theft. And then you only have to take a minute and look at the actual age demographics of the individuals who are coming into these Walgreens. You look right here at the age demographics of the individuals who are coming into the Walgreens in a Bronzeville area. Let's take a look at that. 29.2% of the population is under the age of 18, and you've got 13.9% of the population who are over the age of 65. So you've got 43% of individuals who are either under the age of 18 or over the age of 65. What do we know about that? If 50% of the residents are low income, we know that people who are under the age of 18, they're going to be getting some sort of chip, is what they call it. They're going to be getting that Medicaid chip card, and then you've got senior citizens who are getting Medicaid. So Walgreens can't make the money from the individuals who are coming in to actually patronize the pharmacy end of the store. That's in the back. And then in the front, on the retail end of the store, you've got all of this retail theft. What is Walgreens supposed to do in stores in areas where they can't make money in these stores? And then when they do experience the retail theft, they can't call the local police because you've got a mayor like Mayor Brandon Johnson who is saying, hey, it's not the fault of these individuals that they're poor, so he's not dispatching the police. Walgreens is losing money coming and going, so now they have to make the hard decision about which stores they're going to keep open and which ones they're going to close.
The 5 stores closing include locations in Little Village, South Shore, South Chicago, Bronzeville, and the one here in Chicago Lawn. Company officials say they're struggling to cover rent, staffing, and supplies.
It's not about corporate racism. That's what you'll hear from the local alderman from Chicago. This is just corporate racism. They're just doing this because the residents are black. Has nothing to do with that. It has to do with Walgreens. If they're going to keep these stores open, they have to be profitable. And this isn't just happening in Chicago.
Yeah, this is one of the 12 San Francisco Walgreens that are set to shut their doors for good in February. And customers tell me stores like this are neighborhood anchors. San Franciscans throughout the city are learning their local Walgreens is one of those closing its doors for good next month.
There's a lot of people who use Walgreens, who go to Walgreens not only for prescriptions, but for a lot of things. It's just really a shame.
Walgreens announced it would be closing 12 stores in San Francisco in the final week of February, with a statement reading in part, quote, increased regulatory and reimbursement pressures are weighing on our ability to cover the costs associated with rent, staffing, and supply needs. It is never an easy decision to close a store. Off camera, workers say the pharmacy and retail chain is telling them the pharmacy side of the business is underperforming. Customers also point to rampant theft at some locations. We captured this video of a man walking out of the Geary Walgreens with a suitcase full of beer and food that workers inside were saying he hadn't paid for.
You heard right there. San Francisco is about to close an additional 12 Walgreens locations in their city for the exact same reasons: retail theft. New York just had 41 of their Walgreens locations that closed. So what's in common when you look at places like Oakland, where they're closing stores, Chicago, San Francisco, New York? All of these areas are democratically run cities that are not punishing people for retail theft and crime. And then what happens to the rest of the residents who are obeying the law, who are going in and actually paying for their services? Those individuals are going to lose access to a local pharmacy because you have local politicians that are not enforcing the law, and you have individuals who are going in and committing crime, and they don't care that they're impacting the rest of us who are actually following the law. This is going to be unpopular, the next thing that I'm about to say, but I can tell you, I am at best insouciant about seeing these stores close in urban America, in these democratically run cities. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot ask a corporation like Walgreens to keep a store open in an area where they can't make money in the pharmacy, they're losing money on the front end of the store because of retail theft, They're not being supported by the local police by actually arresting people and sending the message to these local thieves that this antisocial behavior is not going to be tolerated. And then when the store does eventually make the decision that they're going to actually pull out of these neighborhoods, the first thing you hear is racism. They're just doing this because people are black. Those stores that are closing in San Francisco, they're not closing because San Francisco is majority black. As a matter of fact, San Francisco has a minority African American population. But you do see the same local laws and the same tolerance for this antisocial behavior in San Francisco. Why? Because it's a democratically run city and they don't want to hold people accountable. And then, like I said, when Walgreens finally says they're going to have to pull out, now you hear all this criticism on Walgreens. Here's an easy solution to keep these types of stores in these types of neighborhoods. You've got to uphold the law, you've got to arrest people who commit crime, and you've got to support these local stores if you want them to stay in these local neighborhoods. The individuals who live in these neighborhoods, when you see someone committing crime, you've got to call the police. And then for the individuals who are law-abiding citizens, you have to insist to your politicians and to your local police, we need you to come in here and arrest people who are breaking the law, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender, regardless of their socioeconomic status. You have to have law and order, or you're not going to have commerce. And when you don't have commerce, everyone suffers. But maybe I'm wrong. I want you to go ahead and jump in the comment section and leave your opinion. Do you think Walgreens and other companies like Walgreens that pull out of these democratically run cities, are they at fault? Are they practicing corporate racism, or are they just doing what's best for their company? And that's their first obligation, is to do what's best for themselves as a company. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, leave your comments, and you can become an actual member of the David Seaton Show. You can get a membership to show your support so we can keep bringing this content to you. I'll catch you in the next one.